When you see real estate, what do you see? Because you see everything through a different eye. And Robert always tells me, he said, Kim is the expert in real estate.
I love real estate. And I started back in 1989 with a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. And back then it was $45,000. And I had to put down $5,000, which I didn't have. And I was scared to death. And what if I lose money? And what if I make a mistake? But once I got through that first property and kept buying more and more properties, I understood real estate. I understood the game, but I also understood the freedom that real estate, specifically cash flowing real estate, could deliver. And that's really the love of real estate. It's not so much the property, although I love properties. I love to figure out how to make the properties better, how to create a better environment for our tenants. I love all of that. But the number one thing is the freedom that comes from the cash flow of these rental properties.
Yeah, no, that's good. I want to talk about that a little bit later. And when you see like the high rises here, and when you see things, do things go through your mind? Does it look different than other places? Do you see investment opportunities, or?
I see a lot of cranes in the skies.
Yeah, that's a good sign, right?
and I notice, similar to New York, like when checking into a hotel rooms are a little smaller. There's a lot of building going on. There's a lot of growth happening here. And prices are high. So I haven't, again, if I was to come here and really look at buying real estate, I would have to spend 2-3 months here really getting to know it, talking to property managers, talking to brokers, to find out where the real opportunity is here. So I haven't had the chance to do that. For example, in the US right now, I think the big opportunity is in senior housing. And that's a property I'm working on right now. We're changing it over from a sports club to senior housing because we've got all these aging baby boomers. So one thing I might do coming out here is say, is there an opportunity here for senior housing? Because you've got all the aging baby boomers as well.
Yeah, that's interesting because I have not heard that term used here in the UK or in Europe. So I'm guessing that you're probably years ahead of thinking about that whole concept.
Well, then maybe I do need to come out here. Maybe there is an opportunity.
I think there probably is. Yeah. But yeah, central London retail, real estate maybe is something to stay away from because it can get a little crazy.
It's hard to get the cash flow going.
Yeah.
So even in the US with our apartments, we don't go high-end apartments because when there is a recession, and we do think there will be a recession coming sometime shortly, people in the high end move to the middle end. So we're middle end.
Okay.
And people in the middle end move to the low end.
Okay.
So we are not risky when it comes. We don't take great risks when it comes to real estate. We're pretty stable. We're pretty risk averse. We know our formula. We know our niche, and we just keep doing that. Yeah. It's even a little bit more difficult now in the U.S. because we have hedge funds. We have all this money from Wall Street coming into real estate now. So even in the U.S., it's getting more and more competitive.
Yeah.
But when that crash comes, then there'll be buying opportunities.
Okay, good. Well, I want to talk about the crash coming soon. I love talking with the Kiyosakis about the crash, which is good. You just reminded me, my mother, Betty, in San Diego, started investing in real estate when I was a kid, when I was in my teens. And again, she must have been terrified, in
her teens?
No, I was in my teens.
Oh, okay.
So it was like in the 80s when I didn't know many about people, people weren't talking about it. There was no internet, that kind of thing.
Right.
And she now has, I think, about 30 or 35 units that she still manages to this day.
Great.
The 30-year mortgages were paid off.
Yes,
and now
great. Now it's just cash flowing.
Yeah, she does that. And then 6 months of the year, she travels the world.
Fantastic.
And that's what she does. And it's just amazing to see how she could create her independence that way.
Yeah.
And has for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So, powerful stuff.
It is. And anybody can do it. It's just there seems to be a fear of parting your money into a property especially when you don't know. Like the first time I did this, I really didn't know anything about real estate. I think maybe I got the numbers right, but I don't know. And what happened after 3 months, the tenant moved out. The first property I had, the tenant moved out. I'm like, oh, I'm so smart. I'm going to raise the rent. So I raised the rent. Well, I raised it above market. So nobody rented for 3 months. So instead of making my $25 a month, I lost $300 a month. So you learn lessons along the way, and a lot of life lessons too.